Filler words make you sound weak. Now, as a coach, one of the things I do with people that I work with, executives, software engineers, founders, doctors, dentists, it doesn't really matter. One of the first things we do is we remove all filler words. Why? Because filler words make you sound unsure. They make you sound insecure. They make you sound like you don't really know what you're talking about. All right. Now we're going to talk about a few different ways about how to remove filler words, but it's important for you to first understand and realize that filler words are holding you back from projecting the highest confident version of yourself. When you talk, filler words happen because your brain is moving faster than your speech system. That's what I call it, speech system. That includes your mouth, your tongue, your throat, your lips. Everything here is part of your speech system, okay? And so what happens is you're thinking, you're in a conversation, you're giving a speech, you're giving a presentation, you're talking to a friend, you're on a date, doesn't really matter what the circumstance is. You're talking, your brain is moving at a certain pace. More than likely, your brain is moving at a faster pace than your speech system, okay? So for example, just to make this crystal clear for you, let's say that this is your brain, this remote, okay? And this other remote is your speech system. So what happens is your brain goes, and there's a gap. There's a gap between your brain and your speech system, okay? And this, by the way, this is based off speech science. I'm not just making this up. I do, however, call this the brain-mouth lag. Again, this is your brain, this is your mouth. There's a gap here. Because there's a gap, you say and frankly sound kind of dumb. I'm sorry, but it's true. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the fucking president of the United States. If you say filler words, you sound kind of dumb. You sound like somebody that doesn't believe in themselves. Now, I want to take it back for a second and say something that I've said in some content before, and that is people judge you one of two ways. They judge you by how you write and how you speak. How you write can be faked a little bit with ChatGPT and AI and all that shit. But how you speak, you're not going to pull up ChatGPT in the middle of a conversation. I mean, I guess you could, but you'd look pretty weird, which means what? People are going to see you a certain way through your writing, but then in person, you're going to sound like a schmuck? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do that? No. So because there's a lag, let's talk about the 3 different ways to remove filler words, okay? The first way is to say nothing. As soon as you feel the temptation to say, I just fucking say nothing, all right? Just do me a favor. Say nothing. Try it out. Again, you're a human being. So as soon as you feel the just zip it. After a while, this is going to become part of your identity, okay? I made this conscious decision years ago. Why? Because I realized after recording myself on video, I don't like how I sound when I say filler words. I don't sound like the intelligent person I know I am. And it almost discredits me from viewers because people that have never heard me talk or have never enjoyed my content or have never listened to me or watched me, they're hearing the filler words. I don't sound like somebody that's confident. So I wanted to fix that. And the first thing that I did was I just replaced filler words with silence. That's tip number 1. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, some people are still kind of scared of silence, which is shocking to me because, and I see this in my day-to-day life. I'm a full-time coach. This is what I do. And I talk to people that are more successful than you can probably imagine, and they struggle with filler words, which is comforting for you because if you're somebody that struggles with filler words, you're definitely not alone. And again, these people, they are afraid of silence, okay? So here's tip number 2. Speak just 10% slower. When you're talking, instead of rushing to talk or rushing to answer a question, just go a little slower. That's going to help you keep your brain and mouth aligned. That's going to help you omit filler words. Now, this video is not about expressing yourself clearly or different conversation frameworks to help you present yourself in a very polished manner. No, we're not talking about that today. Today, we're just talking about removing fucking filler words. Okay, so that's tip number 2. You speak a little bit slower. Again, I know many of you are watching and you're thinking, you know what? This sounds kind of dumb. This is awkward. This is uncomfortable. No. It's uncomfortable to you. Other people, they see it as a confident you. You think that it's weird. You think this is fucking odd. other people, when they're listening to you, they're going to be like, damn, this person's confident as fuck. This person is secure. This person knows what they're talking about. This person knows how to communicate effectively. It is by far, removing filler words is by far the biggest low-hanging fruit in your arsenal when it comes to improving the way you communicate. Doesn't matter if English is your first, second, third, fucking 15th language. It don't matter. It don't matter. Remove filler words, boom. Your chances of being perceived as a confident you 10x instantly. Instantly. Sometimes I get passionate when I talk. All right, anyway, so that's tip number 2. You speak a little bit slower. Now, for those of you that want to take it to the next level, you can incorporate what I call, and this is tip number 3, you can incorporate what I call a thinking phrase. A thinking phrase. See, if you and I are in a conversation and you ask me a question or you say something and I want to respond, if I'm used to saying filler words to buy time for me to think and catch up, I'll normally use filler words or will rush to just fill in the gap with words, the gap of silence, right? Instead, use a thinking phrase. So if we're talking and you say something and I'm tempted to say or any other filler words, I could just say this. That's a great question. Give me a second to think about it. Yeah, okay. That's a thinking phrase. One moment. Let me process what you just said. Give me a second to really digest what you said. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Hold on a moment. Let me think about the best answer for you. These are thinking phrases. You're letting people know that you're thinking. It's so simple when you think about it, because, no pun intended, it's so simple because most people, what do? Again, they're afraid of silence, or they say and Why? Why do they say and To buy time to think. Wouldn't it make a lot more sense just to let people know that you're thinking? Tell them that you're thinking. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I would have to say my favorite meal is definitely pizza. Yeah. What's that? What's my favorite movie? That's a tough one. Give me a moment. Yeah, it's gonna have to be Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. What's my favorite travel destination of all time? Oh, man. All right, hold on. Let me process that for a sec. Might have to be Spain. That's how you incorporate thinking phrases, okay? And if you're watching me right now and you're not on Instagram and you're not multitasking and you're literally watching me as I say a thinking phrase, as I own the silence, my guess is you probably see me as a confident communicator. Why? It's because I'm very, very, very comfortable with silence. When you can become comfortable with silence in a conversation, your skill set goes through the roof. That's what I recommend. If you're somebody that uses a lot of filler words, own the silence. But those are the 3 steps to remove, or the 3 options, I should say, to remove filler words, because they do make you look weak. They make you look unintelligent. They make you look unsure of yourself. That's how I would go about it if I were you. If I was somebody that wants to improve my communication skills, my confidence, remove filler words. Those are your 3 options. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know if you have any questions. I apologize. I know I have been kind of off the YouTube game for a minute, just been really busy. And yeah, if you have any ideas for videos or something that you're struggling with, let me know and I'll do my best to create content around it. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.